Miss Fitness and Miss International had already arrived at that time. Then it was discovered that there were more and more fitness studios, and they were practically popping up like mushrooms. Shocking news from Monaco. Robert Geis between luxury and suffering. It was the moment that made the whole of Germany hold its breath. Robert Geis, the millionaire entrepreneur and cult star of the reality show Die Geissens, was confronted with a diagnosis that shook his life and that of his family from one second to the next. The man who became the epitome of the jet-setting lifestyle with his luxury yachts, designer suits and champagne parties suddenly faced a dramatic turn of events that no one saw coming. The news hit the family like a bolt of lightning. Suddenly, silence reigned in the luxurious estate in Monaco. A silence that screamed louder than any party song of the last few years. Carmen Geis, the always radiant power woman at Robert's side, is said to have covered her face with her hands while her daughters Shania and Davina cuddled in each other's arms. Particularly shocking is that Shania is said to have whispered in a voice choked with tears that she would have to say goodbye if the worst happened. This intimate, heartbreaking moment makes the scale of the tragedy truly tangible. The first reports in the media caused social networks to explode. Headlines were overwhelming. Hashtags with Robert's name were trending within minutes. Fans posted souvenir photos, sent prayers and encouraging messages. But beneath the surface lay pure fear. Fear that one of Germany's most flamboyant TV personalities could lose his biggest fight. Reporters on site speak of unprecedented tension. Paparazzi besiege the property and every new tip from the closest family circle immediately becomes breaking news. What just seemed like another glamorous episode in the life of the Geissens is now a drama that has millions of viewers on the edge of their seats. The shock continues. Dramatic details about Robert Geis's health. New, shocking information reaches the public. Doctors are talking about a critical but stable condition that requires the utmost attention. According to a source from the hospital, Robert Geis was immediately transferred to the intensive care unit. Every hour counts, the attending chief physician is said to have told an insider. This sentence spread like wildfire on social media and increased the panic among fans and friends. The family has hardly left his side since the diagnosis. Carmen Geis, who is usually perfectly styled and smiling, was spotted with watery eyes. Eyewitnesses report how she clutched her husband's hand while doctors frantically circled the bed. In an emotional moment, she is said to have whispered, "You are my life, Robert, you must not give up." The most moving scene, however, took place between Robert and his daughters. Shania, who is otherwise known as a carefree girl, is said to have completely collapsed. Videos taken by paparazzi in front of the hospital show her with tears in her eyes, clinging to her sister Davina. "If Dad doesn't wake up, I'll tell him everything I never told him," she is said to have said in tears. This sentence, which has since been shared millions of times on social media, triggered a wave of sympathy. Fans from all over the world are posting messages of hope using the hashtag #PrayForRobert Geis tag. Hundreds of candles have been placed in front of the hospital in Nitz, where Robert is currently being treated. Even celebrities have spoken out. Reality star Daniela Katzenberger wrote on Instagram, "Robert, you are a fighter. We are all behind you." Quote, former FMEL1 pilot Nico Rosberg also tweeted, "Hang in there, my friend. Monaco is not the same without you." Quote, particularly explosive, insiders from the production team of the RTL2 show, The Geissens, report that the camera was running at the time of the diagnosis. It is still unclear whether these emotional scenes will ever be broadcast. But the mere idea that viewers might get to see this fateful moment is causing heated discussions online. Some fans are demanding that the family's privacy be respected. Others want to experience the moment that changed the Geissens' lives forever. At the same time, unconfirmed information is circulating about a possible operation that could mean the difference between life and death. According to an anonymous hospital employee, the medical team has already prepared the family for a critical window of opportunity. The next 48 hours are crucial, according to a leaked internal report. The tension is growing by the hour. Reporters from all over Europe have gathered in front of the clinic. Live broadcasts are running every minute. Every tiny update is passed on immediately. Every movement of a family member is interpreted. Ken was spotted this morning with a rosary in her hand, a sign that many would interpret as a cry for help. The mood is electrifying, as if an entire country is holding its breath. Friends of the family report that before he was arrested, Robert quietly said, "I want to fight." This sentence, full of determination, was immediately picked up by the tabloid press and celebrated as a glimmer of hope. But in the background, worries are growing. Doctors speak of possible complications that could occur at any time. A video that has since gone viral shows Weiner with a serious look on her face as she says, "We are a family, we will not give up." Her voice breaks in the middle of the sentence, a moment that silenced even hardened journalists. And as the world watches, it becomes clear, this is more than just a reality TV story. It is a fight for life and death, a drama that even the glamorous facade of the Geissens can no longer conceal. Every new piece of information, every picture, every tear becomes a headline. The drama escalates. International press and new revelations. The first reports had barely been published when international media outlets jumped on the topic. Bild, Gala and even the British Daily Mail reported in real time on Robert Geist's condition. French TV stations broadcast special programs because the Geist family has enjoyed cult status in Monaco for years. Even in Italy, Spain and the USA, articles with titles like "German Millionaire Fights for His Life" are published. Behind the scenes, it becomes clear how much pressure the family is under. Insiders say that the planned filming for the next season was stopped immediately. The production team is in shock. Many employees are said to have cried when they heard the news. A close friend of the family said, "Robert was always a rock in the storm. Seeing him so vulnerable breaks our hearts." Particularly disturbing are the new photos that went around the world last night. They show Carmen with tear-filled eyes as she leaves the hospital late at night, only to return a few hours later. Next to her is Davina, who is holding a photo of Robert, apparently from happier days. This image was shared and commented on millions of times within hours. Many users wrote that they themselves had tears in their eyes. The situation is now dividing the internet. While some fans are calling for the family to withdraw from the public eye, others are demanding to be kept constantly updated. Quote, "We grew up with the Geissens. We want to know what happens next," read countless comments. RTL2 responded and published a short statement. "We respect the family's privacy, but will provide updates on Robert's condition as soon as there are official updates." In the meantime, more and more details are leaking out from the hospital. An anonymous member of the medical team told a magazine, "Robert has received a very serious diagnosis, but his body is reacting surprisingly strongly to the initial treatment." This information sparked hope, but just a few hours later the next horrific news followed. There is an acute risk of further complications. The tension is rising to unbearable levels. The atmosphere outside the hospital is like a place of pilgrimage. Fans are traveling from Germany, Austria, and Switzerland to lay flowers. A video that went viral this morning shows a group of supporters saying a prayer together, including a little girl holding up a sign. "Fight Robert." An image that moves even the toughest tabloid journalists. Friends and companions continue to speak out. An old business partner said, "Robert is a fighter. He built his empire himself. If anyone can take this oath, it's him." Quote, reality TV colleague Lucas Cordels wrote on Instagram, "Our thoughts are with you. Stay strong." Quote, and while the world continues to wait for updates, rumors are growing about a secret emergency surgery that is said to have already taken place. A reporter on site claims to have seen a team of doctors rushing into the operating room in the middle of the night. There is no official confirmation of this, but speculation is rife. The story of Robert Geist has long since developed from a celebrity drama into an international media event. Every hour brings new headlines. Every detail causes emotions to explode. All of Germany, yes, all of Europe, is looking spellbound to Nice, where it will be decided whether the Jets millionaire can continue fighting or whether this will be the end of an era. The Geis family at its limit. The truth is coming to light. The last few hours have changed everything. The first signs of an emotional ordeal are emerging from deep within the family. An insider from the closest circle of friends reported that the tension in the hospital was almost tangible. Quote, "The nerves are frayed," he said. "There are moments when everyone is crying, then discussing how to proceed." This situation turns their entire world upside down. Carmen in particular seems to be breaking under the pressure. A paparazzi video shows her collapsing shortly before the hospital and having to be supported by security guards. Eyewitnesses report that she kept whispering, "I can't lose him." This video went viral, was shared and commented on millions of times. Words like "heartbreaking" can be found among the posts. And this isn't just TV, this is real life. Sisters Shanier and Davina are also the center of attention. In a layered audio, which apparently comes from the hospital waiting area, Shania can be heard crying and saying, "Dad, you have to hold on, otherwise I don't know how I'm going to live without you." This intimate message triggered a wave of sympathy, but also criticism. Many are wondering who is publishing such footage and whether the family still has enough protection. International media are exacerbating the situation. CNN, BBC and even Sky News have launched special broadcasts. Experts are discussing Robert's health, possible treatments and the psychological strain on the family live. The story has long since become a global spectacle, but the drama is now taking on a new dimension. A longtime friend of Robert's claimed in an interview that Robert had already had health warning signs in recent months that he had ignored. Quote, "He was often tired, complained of pain, but he didn't want to admit it," the friend said. This revelation is causing a storm of discussion. Could this crisis have been prevented? Meanwhile, the pressure from outside continues to increase. According to insiders, RTL2 is said to be considering producing a special documentary that will follow Robert's fight for his life. The family itself is divided. Carmen reportedly wants to keep the cameras away, while other voices say Robert wanted the world to see everything. The tensions within the family are becoming increasingly apparent. Sources report heated discussions about how openly to deal with the situation. Davina is said to have spoken out in favor of an official statement in order to put an end to the speculation. Shania, on the other hand, would prefer that no one finds out anything more. This disagreement adds an additional emotional edge to the drama. Fans are now wondering how much longer the Geissens can stick together. The situation is so tense that security forces have been doubled in front of the clinic to protect the family from prying eyes. And then the next bombshell. A tabloid magazine claims to have learned that Robert had to update a private will before his admission. Whether this information is true is unclear, but the headlines are coming thick and fast. Did Robert have any idea what was coming? That's what the newspapers are saying this morning. Everything indicates that the next few hours will be crucial, not only for Robert's life, but also for the structure of the entire family. Millions of people are glued to their screens as if they were standing in the hospital corridor themselves. In the night leading up to today, a development occurred that caused the situation to finally escalate. Eyewitnesses report hectic movement in the hospital wing where Robert Geis is being treated. Several doctors rushed into the operating room with emergency cases. Security forces cordoned off the entire corridor. Shortly afterwards, the rumors intensified. Robert underwent emergency surgery, a procedure that could mean the difference between life and death. A medical insider confirmed this to the press. It was a very risky but urgently needed operation. His condition had deteriorated drastically in the hours before. According to this source, it was a race against time. Any moment could have meant the end. In the meantime, dozens of reporters and fans who stayed up all night. Around 10 a.m., Carmen was suddenly heard sobbing as she left the operating room. She was supported by Davina, while Shanier stood there with glassy eyes and whispered to the camera, "Please continue to pray." This video spread like wildfire and went viral in the early hours of the morning. Things got even more dramatic when a black limousine pulled up shortly after sunrise. A man stepped out who had not been seen in public at Robert's side for years. a former business partner with whom he had a spectacular falling out years ago. His arrival sparked speculation. Will there now be a reconciliation at his bedside? He absolutely wanted to be with him. He said that this might be his last chance to make peace. A source from the security community revealed, the mood on social media reached a new high. Hashtags such as Yoshi Fight Robert, Shishantimus and Shishi Stay Strong Robert dominated trends worldwide. Even international stars had their say. US presenter Paris Hilton wrote, "Sending love to Monaco, stay strong, Robert." Football icon Bastian Schweinsteiger commented, "Keep fighting, champion." But in the midst of this wave of solidarity, new explosive information emerged. An investigative journalist claims to have access to medical documents showing that Robert should have undergone surgery months ago. Whether these documents are genuine is unclear, but they continue to fuel the debate. Did they wait too long? In the meantime, the hospital remains a place of tension. Reporters report constant movement in the corridors. Paramedics come and go. No official reports are leaking out from the operating room. All that is said is that the next few hours are crucial. In a rare moment, Carmen personally addressed the public. In a trembling voice, she said to the cameras, "We thank you all for your prayers. Robert is strong. He is fighting." Her words provided a brief moment of hope before she burst into tears and rushed back to the hospital. Rumors are circulating that the operation is taking longer than planned. A TV reporter spoke of complex complications that are delaying the procedure. Fans around the hospital spontaneously began lighting candles. Some held up photos of Robert in happier times. An almost reverent silence ensued, broken only by the flashes of cameras. The world holds its breath. No one knows what is happening behind the closed doors of the operating room. But one thing is certain, this night could change everything. Shortly after sunrise, when the tension was almost unbearable, the heavy door to the operating room finally opened. A team of doctors stepped out, led by the senior chief physician. His face serious, his eyes tired. It was the moment the whole world had been waiting for. Everything outside the hospital fell silent. No one reporter questions, no paparazzi flashes. The crowd held its breath. The operation was extremely complicated. The chief physician began in a firm voice, while Cayman and her daughters stood by his side, their hands clenched together. "We were able to perform the procedure successfully, but Robert remains in critical condition. The next 24 hours will decide his future." As soon as these words were spoken, the tension erupted in tears. Cayman almost sank to her knees. Shania sobbed loudly as Davina hugged her. This moment was captured by dozens of cameras and broadcast worldwide within minutes. Millions of viewers saw live how the Geis family was at the end of their rope. On social media, sympathy exploded again. Clips and photos of this scene spread in record time under the hashtag #WortGeisalife. Fans commented, "We continue to pray. This is a miracle. And the family deserves so much love." Hope was back, but fear remained. Insiders report that Robert briefly went into a life-threatening condition during the operation. His heart had to be stabilized several times. According to a member of the surgical team, this revelation makes it clear how close it was. "He literally fought for every second," the doctor said. The family is now allowed to visit Robert's bedside at short intervals. Eyewitnesses report a highly emotional moment, as if he gently took his hand and whispered, "You made it, darling. Please come back to us." Quote, Davina and Shania are said to have then started singing their favorite songs to him. An attempt to lure him out of the induced coma. Meanwhile, the hospital remains the center of an international media frenzy. News channels broadcast live updates every minute. Reporters report on the family's every little movement. It is as if the whole of Europe is standing in front of this one hospital room. But the tension continues to rise. According to the latest reports, the doctors are planning another examination to determine whether Robert's body has survived the ordeal. There are hope, but we have to be very careful, the chief physician emphasizes. A setback is possible at any time, and at that very moment, when the family wanted to briefly leave, a new, unexpected figure appeared. an old childhood friend of Robert's, who had disappeared from the limelight for years. He was brought straight to the room, apparently with the family's blessing. The press speculates whether this is an emotional farewell visit or a last attempt to bring Robert back to life with familiar voices. The air outside the hospital is tense to the point of breaking. Reporters, fans and friends wait for the next update while the clock ticks. Every heartbeat could now make history. Late in the evening, as the family waited exhausted in the corridors of the hospital, the shrill sound of an alarm suddenly rang out. Several doctors and nurses stormed into Robert's room. The doors were closed. Security guards held back reporters. Seconds later, the entire hallway was in an uproar. Hasty orders could be heard, the beeping of monitors, the metallic clanking of instruments. Ken broke into a panic and tried to enter the room, but was gently but firmly held back. "What's happening? What about my husband?" Quote, she cried in a trembling voice. Shania wept uncontrollably, while Davina, with a pale face, made the sign of the cross. These scenes were caught on camera and broadcast live. Millions of viewers saw the family oscillate between hope and despair. Insiders report that Robert's heart rate suddenly dropped dramatically. The doctors had to intervene immediately to stabilize him. A member of the team later said through tears, "It was a fight for seconds. Everyone in the room knew that this could be the moment when it all ends." Quote, and then the unbelievable happened. After endless minutes, the liberating signal came. The monotonous beeping gave way to a regular, stable rhythm. The head doctor stepped outside and explained, "We have stabilized him. Robert is slowly responding to stimuli. There is a real chance that he will wake up." Quote, this news sparked cheers in front of the hospital. Fans hugged each other, some began to sing, others lit candles. A wave of relief broke out on social media. "He made it," wrote one user, while another posted, "This is the strongest man in Germany," but the situation remains critical. Doctors immediately warned against premature euphoria. Quote, "We have to monitor the next few hours closely. Robert's body is extremely weak." Nevertheless, it was the first ray of hope after days of fear. Carmen was briefly allowed to go to his bed. A paparazzi managed to take a blurry photo. She knelt next to him, holding his hand, her forehead pressed against his. Within minutes, this image became one of the most shared photos of the year. The daughters also got a moment of closeness. Eyewitnesses report that Dana quietly said, "Daddy, if you can hear me, we are waiting for you. Please come back." Shania put her head on his arm and cried. And then another moment of shock. According to an insider, Robert moved his fingers slightly. The medical staff reacted immediately. A new glimmer of hope was born. Reporters spoke of a miracle in Nice. Headlines read, "Robert Geist shows signs of life." The situation is electrifying. All of Europe is now following Liv to see if the reality star actually wakes up. The moment could come at any minute when he opens his eyes. Or the nightmare will start all over again. Weeks of fear and hope are behind the family. And finally, there's the happy ending that millions of people have been waiting for. Robert Geist is on the road to recovery. After days in intensive care, countless therapy sessions and sleepless nights, he has now taken his first steps at Carmen's side. An exclusive video shows him saying with a smile and tears in his eyes, "I am alive and I will come back stronger than ever." The Geist family experienced an emotional rebirth. Shania and Davina hugged their father so tightly that he had to laugh and Carmen couldn't stop kissing him. "We've been through hell, but now we're celebrating life," she said in an interview. The moment went viral. The internet celebrated the return of the Jet King. The celebrity world is also celebrating. Congratulations poured in from everywhere. Fans even traveled to Monaco to lay flowers and hold up posters in front of the villa. All of Europe is breathing a sigh of relief. The nightmare has turned into a story full of hope, and as the cameras continue to roll, one thing is clear. The Robert Geist chapter is far from over. The new season of his reality show will probably be the most emotional of all time, and it will show how the dazzling millionaire became a fighter who faced death and won. If you've been following this incredible story and don't want to miss any further updates, Subscribe to our channel now, activate the bell and always stay up to date with the biggest celebrity stories.